On this absolutely spectacular Tuesday, we welcome you for Hoosier Heritage Conference Baseball on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network. Yorktown visiting New Pal. The two teams will reverse and head to the Muncie Land area tomorrow. Alongside Jim Leisure, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jim, as you can see with the records, these are two teams off to pretty solid starts in the early stages of this campaign.
Yeah, and two teams that I think are pretty evenly matched in terms of seniors. Yorktown starts 5 seniors and 4 juniors. New Pal has 4 seniors and 4 juniors and a freshman. So about the same place in terms of experience. We'll see what happens as it plays out.
Remarkably to say this, through the second week of April, after tomorrow, and the weather forecast for tomorrow is every as good as it is today, Yorktown's about halfway through with their conference slate already. They opened up by sweeping their big rival in Delta. Then they split with Pendleton Heights last week. And again, these two teams play each of the next 2 days. There you see Blaine Nunnally on the mound. He is the starting hurler for this New Pal squad. And again, Nunnally, a 3-sport star here at New Pal. The ERA throws you off from 3 2/3 innings in his only other outing this season. Other numbers that catch your attention. So let's kind of give you the numbers here. He got 11 outs. He threw 3 2/3 innings. 10 of those were strikeouts, his only other appearance of the season.
No, he's an impressive kid. And, again, like you said, don't let that ERA fool you at all. He is definitely, I think, New Palestine's ace, their number 1 guy, and that's why Coach Sean Lyons has him on the mound now.
New Pal played yesterday. They got a 6-3 victory against Perry Meridian. Their lone loss is to Batesville out of conference play. They swept Shelbyville in their opening weekend of league action, or opening midweek of league action last week. PJ Forquar, the head coach at Yorktown, as his Tigers getting ready in the background.
Yeah, Batesville's always traditionally had a good, strong baseball program down there in the southeastern portion of the state. And I did talk to Coach Lyons before the game, and he said the Perry Meridian game went, we hit the baseball, we fielded the baseball, and we won. He said, it's not a secret. If you play good baseball, you have a tendency to be successful.
So Cole Temple, who is the starting pitcher for Yorktown today, he will lead things off. He is batting .429 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. First ball, fastball, and catapult hop above the third baseman, and took all of one pitch for me to bring this up. In watching both teams take infield, warming up for today's game, there are some wicked hops that are going to happen. And in talking with the folks here behind the scenes, I think there's going to be a new field as we get to this point next year. You can see that maybe the infield has reached the end of its life cycle here at New Pal.
There's no doubt about it. And, this has always been a fantastic facility. And, the cutouts around home plate and the pitcher's rubber were always immaculate. And if you look at them again, they look a little worn. It's not nearly as sharp as it has been in the past. And, again, why invest a lot of time and money into it if you are going to go ahead and fix it next year?
And let's face it, when you see how good softball is, we're back here on Friday. When you see how good football is here, not just from a program standpoint,
right,
from a facility standpoint, in basketball, the gymnasium's in spectacular condition as well.
Yeah.
Okay, at some point in time, baseball's going to catch up, and it sounds like that's coming in the offseason.
Yeah, and again, for years it was. I mean, when they first built this field for several years, this was very well kept and a fantastic facility. It's still a good facility, don't get me wrong.
Temple had a significant lead at first. That clearly caught Nunnally's attention as he throws over to the first baseman. That is Temple. Or Thorpe, excuse me, that is the first baseman for New Pal. You've got Henry at first base. Michael, the second baseman for the Dragons. Braden Foltz, the left fielder, is at home plate. This time Temple a little closer to the bag, but still drew the attention of Nunnally.
Well, this Yorktown team does like to run, Greg. I think they have 21 stolen bases on the season, and, again, they're not afraid to put kids in motion.
Ground ball. Shortstop's got it. He'll go the short way. They'll try to turn it, and then ball got away from the first baseman. Great job by the catcher and Mathis to hustle down there. No further advance and no error. So the fielder's choice recorded 6-4, and there's one away.
Yeah, and Temple was that guy, and you're going to see the replay here. The ball just basically takes too big of a hop there, hit a little too slow to really turn to. They try it, and as you said, the really good hustle by Mathis, the catcher, the junior, getting down there and backing that play up.
So here's Jackson Furnish. Furnish batting .400. He is the starting center fielder. has 6 runs batted in the first 6 games of this season. Curveball by Nunnally slashes across the strike zone. 0-1 the count.
Really good pitch there. And again, Coach Fourquart down there at the third base box going through a ton of signals. So we'll see if he puts Fultz in motion as well.
Lights are already turned on. Of course, we get natural daylight for the next 90 minutes or so. And you could not have a more perfect weather day than today.
Well, I would agree. No wind really to speak of. I mean, just a slight breeze. The flag there in left field just kind of basically just moving slightly in the wind. So sometimes on days like this, it's a beautiful day, but there's a 40-mile-an-hour wind.
Runner goes. Batter swings. That'll fall for a base hit. That'll send the runner around to third. Well-timed piece of hitting and running there by Yorktown. Runners on the corners now with 1 away.
Well, like you said, just the old hit and run there. Again, a lot of times with a right-handed hitter, it's a second baseman that's going to cover. And Furnish does a nice job of just going the other way with it. That ball was not hit hard or particularly well, but it certainly was good enough.
Well, once it was airborne, the runner had to pause for a moment. Once he saw it was going to fall, he knew he had an easy trip over to third base.
Dragon second baseman Michael Thorpe really, again, broke for the bag and vacated the spot. So Matzett's going to go out, go through the first and third situations. What play are we going to call? Are we going to throw through? Are we going to intercept? Are we going to just concede? Lots of different options.
You don't think that there would be much in the way of a play going here for Yorktown, knowing your cleanup hitter is the one that's at the plate. This one misses high. That is Jace Key, the catcher. He is batting a cool .444 to start the campaign with 4 runs batted in. Yorktown won their first 4. They have lost their last 2. They last played on Saturday, an out-of-conference loss to Connorsville. Runner was leaning. They throw back and didn't miss him by much.
Nope, very close over there.
Couldn't tell if it was Coach Lyons or another one of the coaches from the dugout said, keep the tag on him. In other words, as he's getting up, you might be able to kind of steal one there. 2-man umpiring crew for today's game. Nunnally again throws.
Furnish, a young man with 5 stolen bases on this short season as well. So, I mean, that would be the only play I would put on. I wouldn't do a hit and run, but, I mean, I could see trying to steal a base with a kid who's pretty good at it and try to get 2 runners in scoring position.
Absolutely.
For your 4-hole.
Popped up. Infield should hold it. First baseman able to get it. No advance in either direction. And there's 2 down. So Nunnally wins that battle. And now Jacob Grimm will come to the plate.
Number 15, Jacob Grimm.
Grimm hitting just .200, but when he has made contact, it has gone far. He has 2 home runs on the season and has driven in 7 runs batted in.
And I'm sure he would love to get a little shot somewhere between the gaps here and pick up another RBI there standing at third base.
We'll look at Fultz down the third base line. Our first baseball broadcast of the season here on 9-Star and ISC. Runner goes. Lashed foul into the extensive netting that we have here at New Pal. I hope that's not coming down. That's the dugout press box. Great setup here.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they probably will just drop whatever field turf they decide to purchase here. There's 3 or 4 different brands, basically, and there's a lot more than that, obviously, but some of the more popular ones around the country.
You get more and more schools that are going to turf for baseball and softball simultaneously. This one hopped to home plate. Great job by Mathis to stay on top of it. And the count levels at 1-1. I know Indian Creek just opened their brand new all-turf softball facility in the last week.
Yeah, if you can get over the initial investment, just to swallow that, it really
it saves you money down the road.
It does. It does. There's field maintenance costs. It costs time. It costs money. And then nobody can play on it because, you don't want to tear it up.
Pitcher steps off. We'll have the late throw to first base, but nothing doing there.
From a football standpoint, the football team at any high school normally gets on at varsity 5 or 6 times a year, JV freshman games, another 5 or 6 times a year. And then really, if it's grass, Nobody else. I mean, the band can get out there a little bit, but not too much. Well, if it's turf, everybody can get on it.
Runner goes. They will. Well, Nunnally picked it off, and frankly would have had to play at second base anyway. To the stolen base for Furnish. Runners at second and third, and the count in the batter's favor at 2-1.
Yeah, one of the many plays available to a defensive coach, first and third. Act like you're throwing to second, have the pitcher cut it off. You can bring the shortstop down, bring the second baseman down. You can fake the throw to second, throw behind the runner at third.
Pops him up. Center fielder sprinting, and that's going to be placed perfectly. And because on contact, both runners were going, they'll both come around to score. So that one in on the hands, and Grimm, as he has done all year, finds a way to produce runs. Those are RBIs 8 and 9 for him this season. And the Tigers have a 2-0 lead in the top half of the first.
Well, that's what it's all about, Greg. I mean, again, timely hitting. It's one thing to get a base hit, even a bloop base hit like this one here you see on the replay. In an 11-1 ball game, nobody on. But when there's guys at second and third, you have to deliver, and that was not pretty, but it was certainly effective.
So here's the DH in Thurman. Thurman batting $167. 2 runs batted in. That tails in for a strike. Nunnally just has some nice kind of natural late movement on that fastball.
Yeah, we got a great seat for it here. Again, like you said, it's that late movement. That's what coaches always want to know. Anybody can hold a radar gun and see that he's throwing whatever, 88, 91, whatever. They want to know, does his ball move?
Well, I've seen that ball kind of, I don't know whether that was kind of the fastball that tailed out. He almost threw a cutter intentionally on the first pitch, but even though he's 1-1, those 2 pitches he just threw both, broke in different directions.
Correct.
That one just a little low. Snap through the zone. 2-1 the count.
So, he's missed up and he's missed down. So as a pitcher, he just needs to adjust. He needs to figure out the release point and, fix it himself. Senior kid, a lot of innings. I'm sure he can do that.
Runner goes. Batter swings through, throw down. Not in time. Well, Jim talked about it, that this was a Yorktown team that liked to steal bases. Already this inning, numbers 22 and 23 on the season. They're averaging more than 3 steals a game so far in the season's first couple of weeks. And that swing by Thurman now is just trying to protect the runner. And he had a pitch to work with. Now it's 2-2.
Yeah, and they'll continue to run until somebody, either a pitcher can keep them close or a catcher can make them pay.
Got him. Outside corner fastball, strike number 3. So Nunnally picks up his 11th strikeout of the season in 4 2/3 innings pitched. However, 3 hits, 2 runs, and a couple of stolen bases certainly played a decision in that as well. Yorktown with a 2-0 advantage. And let's tell you the lineup for head coach Sean Lyons and his new pal Dragons to start this one. First of all, that is Cole Temple that you see on the screen for Yorktown. Cole this year has 1 outing. He has walked 1. He has struck out 6. He went 5 innings, picked up the victory. He has given up 6 hits, 2 runs. Both of those are earned. So the ERA translates to 2.8. Now gets his second start of the campaign. The batting lineup he will face, Ben Morwick is the center fielder leading things off for New Pal, followed by Adam Rickey, who is the shortstop batting second. Blaine Nunnally, pitcher, bats third. Jackson Camp is the DH, and he will bat fourth. Jacob Morris bats fifth. He is the third baseman. Wyatt Mathis is the catcher batting sixth. Nolan Cox will bat seventh. He is the left fielder. Michael Thorpe is the second baseman batting eighth. And Braden Morrow is the right fielder batting ninth. Again, starting at first base, but not in the batting lineup, is Henry Thorpe.
Coach Lyons was telling me before the game, Greg, that he doesn't feel like his hitters have kind of hit their stride yet. He's got some kids that have had about 8 or 9 at-bats, and they've been getting on base, but mainly by walks, and he'd like to see the bats come alive. So, if you're New Pal, you'd like to get one of these back, hopefully 2, but we'll see what happens.
Well, since we've got about 5-10 seconds before the bottom of the first start, this gives us our official chance to congratulate Al Cooper on his entry into the University of Indianapolis Athletics Hall of Fame. Is there any truth to the rumor that you were the last player to hit for the cycle and throw a no-no in the same game before last Friday?
That would not be me.
Not you, okay.
That would not be me.
Okay.
I appreciate
Because I'm on the broadcast, trying to be more factual than Leisure does.
I don't even
figure out
try.
I would ask that.
I don't let facts get in the way of the stories.
And continuing the tide of the University of Indianapolis, Sean Lyons, his daughter, played basketball at UIndy a handful of years ago. Always enjoy seeing Sean when we're out here or at other locations across the conference. So here's Morwick. And in case you haven't heard what we're talking about, a young man named Brady Ware for UIndy on Friday threw a 7-inning no-hitter. And in the same game, hit for the cycle. That is mind-boggling to think of the stats on something like that. Third baseman playing up, quick pitch over to the first baseman. That is Grimm over to Case, and there is quickly one down for the Dragons.
You know, Greg, you always hear about kids, and then people say, man, he had a day. He's having a day, or he had a day.
That's a month.
Yeah, exactly.
He had a season for some people. So Adam Rickey to the plate. Adam batting .267 on the year with 4 runs batted in. He is the starting shortstop. And there are always gratuitous UIndy mentions when I'm here at New Pal and Seattle, so we can talk about our shared collegiate alma maters.
Well, and it's not that hard out here. This used to be, honestly, a pipeline for athletes, and still kind of is, but, man, there has been, wait to the days of Indiana Central. It's been a lot of New Palestine baseball players playing ball over there.
Good job by Temple. Pulled the string on that one. And the count at 1-1.
Jacob Grimm, the third baseman's going back up now, but, for the last hitter and for the first 2 pitches of this at-bat, he was playing in front of the bag.
And, frankly, I would do that, too. Now that once you get an idea that batter's going to swing away, and Key's going to need a moment. That one clipped him on the foul ball.
So the home plate umpire is going to take his time, go out, and you're going to see it on the replay here. We'll see exactly where it gets him. Looks like on that leg that he's kind of kneeling on, the right knee perhaps. So the umpire and Temple are out there just talking about various things. Which baseball do you like the best? Again, you want this one, you want that one. And
Key may need more than a moment. And again, you notice I love that replay angle we're showing for third base dugout. I hate the fact the young man was hit, but again, you saw that was kind of, this will be a dated reference. You and I will get it. Kind of a Tony Pena style crouch where Tony would be like all over the place, not just the standard, in the crouch, kind of up on the balls of your feet. Tony would be all over the map to move his glove, and that's Key was almost sitting down as he was trying to catch that one, and got him right in the backside. He's going to need a minute. Yeah,
and normally there's a trainer on site. I assume perhaps they might be maybe at one of the other events going on here today, and I'm a little surprised that no one from Yorktown, either the coaches or anybody, hasn't gone out and just kind of made sure the kid was all right.
Well, I think we all have a diagnosis.
Yeah.
And sometimes just time is required.
Yeah.
And that's kind of exactly where we are right now. There will likely be an ice pack prepared as soon as the game is over for the bus ride home, would be my guess. So Key appears ready to go. And we'll restart the at-bat with Rickey in a 1-2 predicament.
And you're right, Greg. Pena was really the first guy to do that a lot. He, I don't want to say invented it. I'm sure he probably got it from somewhere.
Sure. Of your and my generation, that's the one we associate with that. Swing and a miss. Saw a couple of off-speed pitches that Rickey could not time out, and there's 2 away. Benito Santiago would kind of be like that, too. Would be kind of all, and Benito of the late 80s, 90s catchers.
Right.
Was by far the best in terms of just from any position throwing a guy out.
Sure.
So here's Nunnally. I think Nunnally has the option of probably playing a couple of different sports in college, but he is going to go the baseball route. Hasn't committed as of now. Has some offers from the Division III ranks. Also kind of down the way with potential community college offer, too. Nunnally turns on this one. Down the left field line. Left fielder looks up. That one is off the base of the wall. Nunnally will have an easy stand-up double into second base. 2-out double for the pitcher. And Nunnally will put his average now north of 500 through the first 4+ games of the season.
Second double of the year there. You're just going to see a little breaking ball. He stays back nicely. And I wasn't sure at first. I thought it might have enough to get out of here. Of course, like you said, it kind of one-hopped the red wind fence out there. So nice start at the plate for Nunnally.
So Cam batting .400. Has 2 runs batted in. He is the DH. Curveball misses high and in tight. Camp is just a sophomore. A lot of seniors on this varsity roster for New Pal. Secondary lead for Nunnally. Again, Temple misses high and in tight.
Well, this New Pal team baseball has been strong for a long time. So has Yorktown. You and I both work for Indiana State University. There's 2 Yorktown Tigers currently on the ISU roster for a school that size.
Nunnally goes. Camp got a piece of it. Fouls it off. I think Nunnally's decision to go, that was a read off the pitcher. Temple was not paying him much attention out there at second base.
That's the kind of kid Nunnally is. A very smart in all 3 sports.
Sure.
He understands the game. He understands the nuances, the little bitty things that he can take advantage of.
Swing and a miss by Camp. Well, you referenced a couple of Yorktown Tigers, Indiana State. Let's also reference that Keegan Watson.
I forgot about Keegan.
Right here. Well, Keegan's been gone for a little while.
Correct.
Keegan's on like his 16th year of college at this point. 6th in all seriousness after he went to Nebraska, ended up at Indiana State. And the same pitch fooled Camp each of the last 3 times. 3 off-speed pitches, 3 swings and misses. Inning is over, and the double goes for naught for New Pal. We are through one in this conference matchup. 2-0 Yorktown early as you're watching on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network.
We are really heavily involved in the community, so there are multiple different volunteer opportunities that we can go and do.
Volunteer time to share their time and talents with organizations that need not only monetary assistance, but just people's time to help those organizations grow and thrive.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Thanks to John Pater and our crew. That group, they do a great job every time we go someplace, but one of the more fun, but frankly more taxing days that our 9 Star crew has every year is the Horseshoe Classic in Pendleton. Now, thankfully, much like today, weather was not a factor on Saturday in Pendleton, but our crew did 3 games over the span of about 12 hours, and they did a tremendous job.
I couldn't agree more, Greg. That was one of the things that, I got to actually sit and talk to some of our camera folks, some of the youngsters, high school kids that run the cameras for us between the games. It was nice visiting with them. But, yeah, that's a long day for them, and they did a fantastic job.
And congratulations to Coach Davis and the Arabians. They lose the first game 1-0 to Jennings County, then come back and they explode late to beat Lake Central, and they won by a margin or scored enough runs where they won the tiebreaker to get to the championship game, and then beat Center Grove, who had beaten them 15-6 8 days earlier to claim the title. And you can see replays of the Horseshoe Classic all week long on ISC TV.
For the Tigers.
Well, it was really kind of fun to watch that team because Coach Davis lost a lot of seniors, a lot of talented kids, a lot of offensive production. And you could see them kind of struggle a little bit. Only did not score a run in the first game. I think 3 or 4 innings in the second game without scoring a run as well, and then basically just exploded.
Well, 7, 8, 9 coming up this time through. Landon Case, the first baseman, batting $143, 2 hits and a double so far this year. Case providing a big target up there.
I was just going to say he is a very big young man there. Kind of looks like a football player. I don't know if he plays football or not.
Pops this one foul, and that'll reach the seats right behind us.
School the size of Yorktown, it's not uncommon to have 2 or 3 sport athletes. They are the smallest team in the Hoosier Heritage Conference in terms of enrollment, I believe.
Now they're one of the 3A schools that's in the league.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Elevated the fastball that time, did Nunnally. And the count at 1-2.
Well, again, that's what you want to do if you're a pitcher. You're facing 7, 8, and 9. So, don't concede, don't give in, just go after them. If they hit you, they hit you, and then do it enough, they won't be batting 7, 8, or 9.
Lashes this one into left center field, but the left fielder drifts over and makes the play. That's Cox, and there's one away.
Nice job playing that. Again, the ball was kind of breaking to Cox. The lefty kind of went the other way with it, so didn't have quite as far to run, but that's still a difficult play for a left fielder to be on the move while the ball is tailing.
Here's Sean Gibson. Sean with 3 runs and 3 hits, the shortstop, batting over 300 on the season. Nunnally's fastball dips out of the zone, 1-0 the count. Shadow starting to creep across the field. And that one off the helmet. And clearly the helmet did its job because Gibson never flinched and walks on down to first base.
Well, you're exactly right. I think that was a breaking ball, and umpire just wants to go out and just make sure everything's okay with it, because it can be a little unnerving for a pitcher as well. But honestly, going to give the guy at first base a little time to clear the cobwebs as well. But obviously, he, like you said, the helmet did his job, and he didn't hesitate.
Now, you and I had a case in the Marion University basement we did last Thursday where it took a minute for the batter and Tyler Walkup to kind of make sure he was all right, and eventually stayed in the game and continued. That was instantaneous. Gibson just hopped up and on about his business he went. So here's Johnson. Johnson 1 for 5 this year. Gets a start today at second base. And that one sails high. You wonder if Johnson, even with one out, might be thinking about putting a bunt down here as the number 9 hitter.
I was thinking the same thing, and just as we said that, Coach Fourquad just went through a whole bunch of signs. On the other hand, he may give him a take, because he's obviously, Nunnally's a little bit wild here.
That was that was my first thought. Runner was leaning, but he got back in time. And if I'm the third baseman in Morris, I might be just hedging my bets and coming a little bit more down the third base line for New Pal.
Yorktown with only one sacrifice bunt on the season, so that's apparently not part of their game.
Runner was going. Johnson did protect him by swinging through, and that one sprayed foul. And the count at 1-1. I defer to your years of coaching. Did you want a batter at home plate to swing every time a runner was going to kind of protect him, or do you almost want him to kind of get a read and know when maybe to pull that bat back and let him have the bag?
You know, it kind of depended on who was running. It kind of depended on and who was hitting. You got to have kids that can make those quick decisions.
Now Johnson squares to bunt and skies it. Nunnally makes the play in fair territory. And there's 2 down.
You know, those are things that as you're putting the lineup together before the game, you talk to those kids. You say, now remember, in this case, Temple. Temple likes to run. He gets on a lot. He's going to run. So, the hitter, maybe go ahead and take the pitch and let him go. You don't have to protect him. He's faster than the baseball.
Cole Temple had a ground ball single his first time up. Runner goes. And pitch was high, and the catcher kind of instinctively had started to get out of his stance, potentially throw. And when you do that, you kind of veer right, ball tailed inside, and made that an easy one for Gibson.
Yeah, I wonder whether that wasn't a pitch out, and that maybe Nunnally didn't get the sign because the catcher was moving early. And Yorktown runs, so pitch outs aren't bad ideas.
Another runner in scoring position. Wicked curveball that time by Nunnally. And the count levels at a ball and a strike.
Nunnally actually seems to have more command over that breaking pitch than he does the fastball right now. The fastball is kind of sailing up, down, in, and out. But he does snap it off pretty good.
Almost clipped him. 2-1. Like we said, he's got late movement that sometimes he's in control of and sometimes not on that fastball. Foltz awaits on deck. And because that last one nearly hit him, you saw him buckle just for a second. That clearly was by design, that location by Nunnally. Froze him, and the count 2-2.
Yeah, command is obviously important at every level, but, kids will tell you all the pitches they throw, and then my next question is always, do you throw any of them well? Do you throw any of them with, consistency?
Brought it back outside. We are within listening distance of home plate, where I'm trying not to potentially tip off where a catcher might be seated or where the next pitch might be going, but you could see kind of the mental process of pitcher and catcher after inside, and bounce back outside.
Yeah, Temple did a nice job there, staying on that pitch.
Good job to spoil it. This one, the fastball, airmailed after the bounce, so the wild pitch. Puts a run within 90 feet, but again, Nunnally at the same time is also a pitch away from getting out of the jam and just hung on to that fastball a little too long.
Absolutely nothing that Mathis could do there. Some people say, well, can you block that? I don't know. That was really nasty and short.
Nothing to do with that.
No. About a 56-footer.
Payoff pitch. Ground ball, Nunnally's got it. He can usher this one to first base. The soft toss and got him just in time, and runner is stranded at third by Yorktown. So we now go to the bottom half of the second inning with New Pal trailing it 2-0. I want to thank our friends at NSR and Mark Gallion. NSR stands for the National Scouting Report. As you see the replay here. You only get one chance at the recruiting process from our friends at NSR. Don't waste it. National Scouting Report is dedicated to finding scholarship opportunities for athletes who possess the talent, desire, and motivation to compete at the collegiate level. To learn more, give Mark a call at 317-339-6721. Or you can email Mark at mgallion, that's MGALYEAN, at nsr-inc.com. Again, thanks to Mark Gallion and our friends at NSR for their support of today's broadcast.
Well, for New Pal, we got 5, 6, and 7. Jacob Morris, Wyatt Mathis, and Nolan Cox to see if they can get a run back. Again, you'd like to get them all, right? You'd like to get a crooked number, but if you can just chip away at it, get one every now and then, get the game tied.
So Morris, Mathis, Cox, the trio due up for Coach Lyons and New Pal.
For the Dragons, number 16, Jacob Morris.
Morris, the third baseman, batting .308 on the season with 3 runs batted in.
At this point, again, Coach Lyons has stated that some of the hitters are still kind of struggling to find their groove. You'll take it anywhere you can get it, whether it's 6, 7, 8, wherever, man. Somebody needs to get on base. Somebody needs to get on. Somebody needs to get them over and get them in.
Temple's curveball just missed. 1-0 the count. Second verse, same as the first. 2-0. And not only a double. In the bottom of the first, Morwick ground ball to third base and a pair of strikeouts around that. And Temple misses outside for a third consecutive pitch.
Good take there by Morris. That pitch was close. The type of pitch that maybe a less disciplined hitter would take a whack at and ground out.
Taken all the way, and that misses. So first walk issued by either pitcher. Both pitchers in their opening start of the season walked only a batter.
Number 31, Wyatt Mathis.
There's Wyatt Mathis. He's batting .250 and has a run scored. Mathis, a junior. Delivers this one. Fastball, shortstop, gets the hop. Over to second, one on to first. They got him, double play. 6-4-3, turned by Yorktown. There's 2 down.
Nice job by Sean Gibson there, the junior shortstop, and nice flip very quickly. No wasted motion. Catch ball, put it basically behind your ear, flip it over. Johnson with a nice turn. And again, even though Mathis was hustling, no chance to beat that out.
So Nolan Cox.
Now batting number 2, Nolan Cox.
Nolan 0 for 5 on the season. Does have a run batted in. Does have a couple of runs scored. Nolan, a senior left fielder. And that one misses the zone.
Pitch was really close to the zone, but I think the catcher bringing the glove up as far as he did kind of gave the umpire the impression that it might have missed.
No doubt about that one. Swings through that one.
You hear about catchers at every level framing pitches, and sometimes the opposite of that is too much movement. You didn't frame it well.
That one just falls off the table into the zone, and even after walking a batter, Temple is potentially a pitch away from facing the minimum here in the home half of the second.
Yeah, the pitcher's best friend, the old double play ball.
Turns on this one, but that is easily foul. And we'll do it again on the off-speed pitch. And you can see that Temple's a little more reliant on that changeup than, say, we've seen from Nunnally so far. Just missed. Even when he's missed, Temple's been around the zone this half an inning.
Without question. Again, the walk that he gave up to Morris, I thought the fourth pitch was close enough. Obviously, the umpire disagreed.
Skies this one. Center fielder turns, chases to the base of the wall. This could be 3. Cox will stop at second. Good relay throw in by the center fielder from the base of the wall. It's the second extra base hit so far for New Pal, and they both come with 2 out of an inning.
Well, he absolutely puts a charge into this one, and once again, Greg, I thought maybe it had a shot. Did not have the carry. In fact, fell well short of the wall. You're going to see it on the replay here. Center fielder Jackson Furnish has no shot. He knows that I got to get back there, right? It's either going over or going out of here or going to go a little short, kind of lands right in front of the warning track.
Well, Furnish, to his credit, is playing where the hitter he thinks is going to hit the ball and not where the wall is, so to speak.
Right.
Because there is some serious space in center field here. So Furnish just realized immediately that ball's over his head. I got to go get it.
Yep.
And kept that to a double. So here's Thorpe, making his second plate appearance of the season. He's officially 0 for 0. That's in for a strike. And the count is 1-1.
Also like to point out Yorktown did a fantastic double cut, perfectly executed. Second baseman, shortstop go out into left center. First baseman trails the runner to second base. And Temple does a nice job of backing up third. That's the way you coach it. That's what you want to see every single time. When the ball's in play, there should be basically 9 people going somewhere.
Count it 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for Temple. And again, a double. Could not be converted into runs by New Pal. We are now through 2 in this one. 2-0 in favor of the Tigers. We're back in a moment. You're watching on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network.
9 Star is very focused on customer and member care, focused on making sure that however we communicate with the member and customer is how they want to communicate.
You know, sometimes we're the one person that they speak to in a day, and you want that conversation to be happy and pleasant.
As a nonprofit co-op, we're focused on providing the best service we can for our members.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
So Nunnally is on for his 3rd inning of work. He allowed 3 hits in the first inning. Hit a batter, but got 3 outs around that in inning number 2. And then he had a chance to talk to one of Blaine's family members kind of before the game in terms of what his college plans are at this time. Clearly, this is the sport he is planning on playing upon heading off to college in the fall.
Yeah, you know, again, a 3-sport kid and probably not quite the size to play, college football. I'm sure he can play D3. He's talented enough and enough of a good athlete. But, he's been a little bit of everywhere in terms of, Danville Community College, Rhodes in Memphis, Tennessee. Just about every D3 and NAIA school in Indiana is at least interested in him. It's whether or not what fits best for him and his family.
So to the top of the 3rd we go. Fultz, Furnish, and Key. Batters 2, 3, and 4 due up this time through for Yorktown. Fultz would reach on a fielder's choice his last time up. Swing and a miss. Again, this that natural late movement on that fastball. Fultz would score on the single by Grimm. Lashes this one into center field for a base hit. Just good solid contact, and leadoff man is aboard for the second time in 3 innings.
Well, anytime you're putting it right back through the box, that's like you said, that's good solid contact. And again, Coach Fourquarters over there just, I tell you what, he looks like he's trying to hail a cab. He's moving his hand so fast. All kinds of stuff going on here.
So here's Furnish. Furnish singled his last time up. It was with a runner in motion. He has a similar chance here. Showing bunt. Runner delayed steal, and well done by Yorktown. So it is a strike.
Obviously something that they work on. I mean, this is a big part of their game, and, they're going to work on, delayed steals and, protecting runners with swings and basically showing bunt, pulling back.
Curveball misses inside. 1-1 the count.
I always like to put a lot of pressure on the defense, from a base pass standpoint. Now, there's a difference between, basically being silly and ridiculous and taking too many chances and taking good calculated risks. Right now, Yorktown's kind of caught the groove.
Swing and a miss as Nunnally took something off that one. Ball dipped and dove underneath the hands of Furnish, and the count is 1-2. Asked for time and got it.
Yeah, sometimes when you're hitting, it doesn't feel right, and if you got time, ask for it. Of course, the umpire does not have to give it to you. Generally, they try to, however.
Good job by Mathis to snare that one. And the count is 2-2.
Yeah, I'd say he caught the back half of that one.
Yeah, he did. It was almost by him.
Spun him all the way around.
Curveball, a beauty, and Furnish knew it. One down. So second backwards K. In fact, both of the strikeouts for Nunnally have been of that variety. And there's one away.
Again, he's definitely got command of the curveball, the breaking ball, the little cutter that he's throwing. It's just right now he just can't get the straight pitch to behave.
So here's Key. Key a pop up to the first baseman his last time up. That bends in for a strike.
Why not? It's right now it's your best pitch, and now eventually teams will start sitting on it, waiting for it. But until they do, and there's a lot of kids at the high school level don't hit breaking pitches well, and they won't swing till they get 2 strikes.
Foul ball. Grimm waits on deck for Yorktown. Outfield playing the cleanup man just to pull ever so slightly in center. Shortstop hanging around second base just to keep the runner in Foltz honest.
But Greg, the left fielder Nolan Cox has given a ton of room down the line. He's almost playing him to go the other way.
This one smacked to left field for a base hit, and then it takes a crazy hop over the left fielder. Well, that will score the run. And that's the second base hit that we've seen be affected by one of the bounces in left field. 3-0 now in favor of Yorktown.
Yeah, just a really, really difficult surface here. Again, I don't know if they train horses, in between practices or what, but you're going to see this again. This is nothing that Nolan Cox could have done. This is just what appears to be a fairly routine ground ball, and then hits a divot. And lucky it didn't hit him in the face. He does a nice job of hustling back, puts in a great throw back into third base to keep Key on second.
So quick conversation on the mound involving Nunnally. And he has not pitched that poorly. Just kind of some timely hitting, some good aggressive base running by Yorktown.
I'm sure he'd like to locate the fastball a little better, and that would make the curveball even more impressive. Now, batting is next is Jacob Grimm, and here's a kid that has 9 RBIs on the season. I think, and again, the sabermetric folks will say RBIs aren't really an important stat because you can't control people getting on base, in front of you. Certainly, you can't